set isn't as light up as Jordan's, and that's just not fair.
Yeah, you need lights. You need flashing lights and stuff. Well, I feel out of place. I haven't got a headset now.
Well, I'm a professional.
Yeah, we know what we're doing, Robin. Come on.
Yeah, come on. Wind it in.
You need lights. Right. So, last shift of the weekend. Shift, that makes it sound like work.
Yeah, sorry, mate. Am I keeping you?
Last shift, last stint. No, the last session. We're joined. We've got 3 guests with us today, which is amazing. I'll let them all introduce themselves separately, and then I imagine I probably won't have to do a lot of talking because they'll be able to tell you so much about it. Thank you first off just for joining us throughout the weekend. And yeah, it's been great fun and yeah, keeping the chat going in the stream and stuff. It's just been great. And I couldn't think of a better way to sort of end it than with the people that I've got on today. The last 6 months, you know, they've just been smashing it and really kind of building an excitement around alcohol-free beer that we just haven't seen before. So yeah, I'm joined by Mash Gang, and I've got 3 of them on. So in a minute, I'm going to ask them to introduce themselves, and I think they're probably just going to all talk over each other. So let's see how it goes. This might set it up for the rest of the session.
We're going to behave.
Go on then. Who's going to go first?
I'm Jordan. I'm the essentially I work in innovations and development, but the whole business is kind of a linear sort of horizontal democracy. So we kind of do a bit of everything, but essentially most of the time I'm concerned with what's outside the can and what's in it and how it gets somewhere. That's me.
Okay. I like that.
Yeah, that's about right, isn't it?
Yeah,
that's pretty fair. I'll jump in. I'm James. I basically stop the wheels from falling off. So systems in the background, herding cats. Just keeping us on the straight and narrow. And you were actually joined by the 3 OGs. So this is the 3 that came up with the concept, which is really cool. Mike, over to you.
Yeah, and I'm Bagsy. I guess I don't know what I do really. I guess I'm the strategy and business dude.
Yeah,
I'm the But like it's weird because we all do different. We all cross over all the time. Like there's no like it's probably going to bite our ass at some point. We don't really have job titles. We're all like it's total decentralized power. Like I think I'm the only person who hasn't had a beer go to brew yet, and I don't care.
Alex, not yet. Alex as well.
Oh yeah, I don't care specifically because I've helped on all the other beers, so it's
no.
You know, I don't think we've done a beer I don't like, so my work here is complete.
No. So there's the 3 of you, and then you mentioned Alex as well. Is that it? Is that the full gang? Or
no, there's loads of us.
Somewhere between 7 and 17, I think.
Yeah. It's like So Solid Crew or like Wu-Tang Clan.
Yeah. And when you never know who you're going to get, whether it's going to be everyone or one or no one.
And it's as much of a mystery to us as well. So that's something that frequently happens. Yeah. So we also have Alex, Ben, and Matt. And once again, kind of decentralized roles, really. But you could say that Matt, in general, was just the head brewer and minor league firefighter and the figurehead of things. When they go wrong, it's his fault. So we like to focus all of our anger and hatred towards him. Alex, who is like mostly like business to business sales, but also like he's like the hype man. Like if we're fighting with each other, Alex will come in and try and stop us from doing it and be like, but guys, remember we did this really well. And it's like, yeah, right, chill out. There's like, you need to calm down with each other. So it's like, but also he kind of spots new things and trends because he's like embedded in the industry. And in essence, Alex is just like the hype man. The opposite of the hype man is Ben. And Ben's job is to tell us to stop doing things because they're stupid and they're costing us a lot of money. On the end, like he is the professional devil on your shoulder that like goes, you shouldn't do that because of this. And a lot of the time as well, Ben will get super passionate about trend. Like he sees trends quite a lot. And he's really sort of like, if we've approached a bottle shop, it will be because Ben found it. Professionally, he's a photographer, but he doesn't do any of our photography, does he? No, I don't think he's done any.
I was going to ask who's on the social media. Is that a mixture of everyone?
Yeah. It's just that we're all really similar. So people I don't know who I was talking to, and it's kind of where one goes, we all go.
Yeah, nice. So I guess like you guys were formed during the recent like lockdowns and the pandemic that we've had, and when did it all start? Like, how did it come together? Do you guys know each other from before this? Like, where does the story begin with Mashgang?
Oh, that's a lot. Right, where it began? We went to school together. So
yeah,
okay,
yeah.
And in a while.
Yeah, that was a long time ago though, like 20 years ago or something horrendous. But yeah, essentially, like, we know each other through that. Me and Mike played in bands together for most of our, like teenage and young adult years, traveling around the world playing music.
We've even now coordinated on Screaming Face shirts by accident. Even looking up in the same direction. That's really
that's good. About that.
I went Mashgang Clan.
You,
no.
like that.
You can only wear your own shirt if you're a Metallica, I think.
Yeah.
I looked into it.
With the St. Anger Metallica of brewing.
I love that snare, man. So like the story in short, like the shortest version I can do, which probably someone else should tell it if they want it to be short. But at the start of lockdown, we realized that we ain't going back to work in a long time. And at the point where everyone's talking about going back to work in 2 weeks, we're all super skeptic survivalist guys. So we're pulling out our boxes of rations and stuff because we can't wait for the world to fall apart because we've been saying it's going to happen for years. And then, it starts out that we're kind of competitive, aren't we? Because we're, like almost like a family. So I'm buying alcohol-free beers and I'm starting to spend more and more money on the ones that I'm doing it. And that sets everyone off and it becomes this arms race that generally ends in Omnipollo, right? We can agree.
Yeah.
Generally ends there. That's as high as we can go up. And then eventually, and I'm not quite sure who it is, but I think it's James. I think it's your fault. Eventually, we run out of things to buy. And I think James says, well, how hard can it be to make one?
No.
and then
turns out really, really hard.
Really hard.
Yeah.
We're like, can you home
quite expensive.
Like, only do it for a day and it has no alcohol in it? And it's like, no, that's not how it works. We were like, oh, science. Well, that makes it more challenging.
I think so, and that's literally where it started. There is no end point or anything. I think we're just trying to keep ourselves occupied when, if we're being fully honest, we're probably a bit afraid of what the future was going to hold for us.
It was a welcome distraction, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah.
To throw ourselves, both feet into something like this. And, turns out we're not actually that bad at it.
Yeah.
I mean,
no, wow. It tastes great. And I know you started off, we'll talk about this bit, but you started off
we're good.
With the Uncommon, didn't you?
Have you got Uncommon, James?
I've got Uncommon. My beer didn't turn up. I'm Royal Mail.
And
Posty, I didn't look after him enough, and he hasn't been kind of delivered it on a Sunday.
I got mine.
I got pints, so I'm all right.
Oh yeah, you're all right. Our logistics has been like the logistics for a lot of companies is their primary focus, but you wouldn't believe it. But one of our main focuses is actually like customer experience. But it's a lot harder than you would think. I could show you in the room here. Like, this is where we started out boxing stuff when I moved here. And it's just a load of boxes on the floor because that's what the business was. Obviously, in the last month or so, we've kind of gone up like this. So, and the end point of that's really far away. So now we've kind of got a decentralized, a centralized warehouse and fulfillment service so we could keep up with stuff. Essentially, we realized if I got sick or I need a holiday, we'd have to stop working, and that's not sustainable. And also we were having to cap the amount of stuff that we were making or selling because at the end of the day, I'd have to get it out the door. And it's not sustainable either. You can burn out pretty quickly when that responsibility is yours the whole time. So, So, sorry, I've done it again. Question?
Well, you started with the Uncommon, didn't you?
Yeah.
And so how did that come about? What's that style? And then how are we now? This is your second kind of proper release. I'd say major release.
Yeah, I mean, it's actually that's actually like a 11th release now. So
yeah.
We're calling that core, right? So
core. This is core range.
So tell us what happened.
Figured it out.
Uncommon. What's happened between Uncommon and this? Then tell us the story between the first one and then, because I know you had your launch party as well, didn't you? And like you say, you had a ton of beers there.
Well, do you want me to do Uncommon and you do NEPA, James?
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah. So Uncommon was the first project we've worked on, and you'll hear it mentioned over and over again, is a project that's called Stoop. And Stoop is one of the main key things that we were super excited to work on. We really, really wanted to make an alcohol-free lager that was actually like pretty good. Now, that's not talking trash on things like Lucky Saint and that is good, but their definitive style of European lager gets knocked out of the park over and over again. I'm even going to say I like Lidl's Perlenbacher. It's banging. It's great. I haven't had Low Tides one yet, but they can get me some of that so I can try that as well. But this was definitively like an American style working dude's beer, like old school 80s dad beer. That's where we wanted to be. The problem is that Matt is very easily distracted. And one of the things that we frequently talked about, as soon as we're talking about American beer, was malt liquors and our kind of love of like 90s hip hop and all of, that stuff that we find really, really exciting. And then Matt started to make the first versions of Stoop. When we got the first samples of our lager, there was another can unlabeled in the box. And when we all cracked it open, we went, what's this one? And he went, oh, you've talked about doing a malt liquor over and over again. So I had a crack at making one.
Nice.
And immediately we were like, we should release this. But I love this.
Yeah.
And we had to have a meeting where we were like, this is commercial death selling this. We have to explain to people that it's not only alcohol free. We're going to have to explain to them what the style is. And the first thing that any British person is going to do when they pick up a craft beer from the UK is they're going to go, where's the hops?
Yeah.
And we thought,
so we do it anyway.
So we'll do it. And we did. And then obviously, we wanted to make beers that we just liked. So we made that, and we knew that was, we knew it was a good beer. And once it went on tap at Brewdog, when you have a pint of it, you can see that it was exactly what we meant to make.
That's awesome.
And there's a lot of digging uphill. But we did agree. We started this project, the NEPA, around the same time, and James had a very clear vision on it. And then I didn't actually take over or anything. I just saw it through. So
that's it. And I think this is how we found our feet, right? Just concept. We know what we like. We know the styles that we like to drink, and then that's the genesis. And then we figure out how to make it. That's the essence of what we do and why we've been so prolific, I think, in the releases. NEPA. So I Am Become Death, Destroyer of Worlds. That's the name that we're all sick of.
We are too. We're releasing a different product because I'm so sick of writing the name.
Whose idea was that? Whose idea was the name?
My bad.
It's him. He did it.
Where does it come from? What's the quote?
I really liked kind of New England style IPAs, relatively modern, less bitterness, juicy, kind of. I guess they're not that new now. They've kind of found the mainstream, I don't know, in the last 10 years, but relatively still, I think to our palates are quite new. So I wanted to do that, but us being us, we wanted to make it really fucking difficult. So, we played around with some different yeasts. We came out with that first release at Brewdog, and we had this slightly smoky backbone, the rye in there, built up unfathomably complex malt bill. I bought Biochemistry for Dummies.
Nice.
It got it got pretty serious. So, we made that, we released it, and then we disappeared into the cupboard and kind of like started to figure out how we could scale it. That was the thing, and it's taken us this long really to get to the point of, we've got something that scales now. So it's definitely a riff on that original and that smokiness from the Kvik yeast, which surprisingly treating it really badly, like we do, turned out some interesting flavors. And then the malt bill, which anyone that's actually making it at scale hates this. It's really hard to work with, but hopefully, I still haven't got mine, which is annoying. I'm gonna have to have words with the postie, but hopefully it tastes pretty good. I don't know how you're finding it, Robin.
Yeah, like you said, I think it's definitely got that smokiness to it again, and yes, it's lovely. And I think so. And where was this brewed at Northern Monk? Yeah.
No, this is brewed. It's still brewed in the north, but it's this was a 600 litre batch from Allendale, and this is our like run up beer. So we're repeating something that we've done before, and then we're putting the controls in for scale. Now, one of the things that people probably don't know about us is we're really diligent, and I know that we might not appear it, but continuous improvement's like a super, super big thing for us. So before we step up to big production, we kind of do the middle bit and we do it again. I'm already getting feedback that I've had 2 people who have had it before that say that this has a reduced smokiness in it. And I think that's maybe that we took a little bit too much care with the yeast and the fermentation temperatures.
Okay.
But one of the problems is we're really trying to dial it down now. And it's like diminishing returns, like there is multiple step hopping and filtration in this product, as well as one of the big things is the safety of the product as well. You see that a lot of the time brewers are kind of finding their feet with alcohol-free beers, and they're not really, I said they're not really ready. I guess that there isn't the longevity and experience at the moment with keeping things with longer shelf lives. But we've really, really focused on that. And that's why some things are either late or they're held back. It's because we do rigorous and really heavy duty stability testing to try and make things go wrong. So I'm confident now that these cans and everything going forward as well are safe, even in warmer temperatures, even outside of the fridge and stuff like that.
Okay.
I would prefer people kept them cold because it will taste better, but it won't blow up. And
do you think that's great? Yeah. I think that is so important. I mean, we've seen recently some of the cans have got, not you guys, but there have been some that have gone, and they've only been, a few months. But
it happens in every part of the industry. It's
exactly
one of those things.
So do you think this will change the flavour of the beer will change over time as well, based on give it a couple of months, it might start to evolve a bit?
Well, we found that California Uncommon doesn't evolve until nearly 4 or 5 months into conditioning.
Oh, wow.
And now that's changed how we look at things, because we're really, really keen on beers that got pushed to the back of the fridge and have spent a long time there. We're finding that definitely, we're starting to push for much longer conditioning periods on our beers, but also trying to do things like putting it to conditioning and then bringing it back and hopping it again, because hops fade pretty fast. We're also kind of balancing hops versus like filtration, making sure we maintain the body, making sure we maintain aroma and mouthfeel. But it still isn't a hop bomb beer. No. If you want one of those, we've got one. But, this is supposed to be like a classic New England pale ale.
Yeah.
It's got moderate to medium high hopping, but everything is about the body. It's about the rye, the oats, a really boozy mouthfeel. I don't know if you get it. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but, if you might say, I think it's got a pretty boozy mouthfeel. That's kind of where I was heading.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely, you can definitely you can feel the rye, and you can feel that in your mouth. Yeah, definitely. I don't know. I can't even remember what boozy mouthfeel. I drink too much alcohol-free beer. yeah, you
Well-
definitely, it's not lacking anything. You're not wanting more from it.
Keep making me taste it now. I've got to open it up.
But yeah,
I think that's the key, and I think a lot of what we've done when we've benchmarked has been against those full ABV beers. Some of us are perhaps drinking more mindfully and cutting our intake down. Some of us don't drink at all. So the ones that do are like, we're chasing some pretty heavy hitting beers, and I think that's fundamental to our development. It's quite nice to be able to benchmark against some of those real hefty beers that are out there that are really, really packing in, malt bill, in hoppage, in just every way. But with the constraints of alcohol free, you just can't hide from that, and that's where we're having to get really creative, and where some of that culinary science comes in to deliver on it.
I like the Greek is it's pretty funky. I like that. And there's
that's what it is it? That's the yeast. Yeah.
You're like, what the hell? It's like, yeah.
No, it's great. But you can tell there's something different about it. Do you know what I mean? Like,
it's pretty. Yeah, it's like it's pretty dank. Like that kind of.
You definitely get that chili as well, I think, at the end.
And that's a weird one. Everyone's like, why the hell have you got chili in it? And it's like, because humans are simple creatures, and if it doesn't have something zesty in it near the end, your body kind of just thinks it's another soft drink, and it's not supposed to be like that. This has definitely got my favorite body out of it, but I'm like a sucker for oats and rye, Yeah.
And you've recently done I couldn't tell whether it was a joke or not when you released it. But so you've done a soft version of a hard seltzer. So I don't know what you call that, but I think it's amazing. And when I spoke to you about it, you were like, "No, it's totally real. Like, yeah, you can buy it. It's amazing." So tell us a bit about that.
I've been going on about this for ages, because when we first worked in the brewery in London, there was Good One, and they were doing their first ever samples of like their hard seltzer, and they actually changed the name to hard soda because people were asking them what hard seltzer was, because they came out before White Claw kind of really got its feet in. And I was like, 1 April Fool's Day, we have to do the world's first alcohol-free hard seltzer. I mean, obviously the joke is it's just a seltzer, but we did want it to be like a nice one. And, we kind of use some of the tricks that we use in brewing the beers as well. So it's a pretty grown-up soft drink, but it is just a soda, just happens to be a nice one.
That's great. I just spoke to Cloudwater Soda, and it's exactly the same. It's a soda, it's got some hops in it, but ultimately it's a grown-up soft drink. Yeah, it's really nice. So that's cool. I think it's
with the name Soda Hop.
Soda.
It's like the hopped soda.
Nice.
Doesn't exist yet.
No, there was Brooklyn Brewed. That was back in like the late 90s, early 2000s. It was like it was a British startup, and they spent like £4 million on advertising and bombs. But I used to love it, and it was like an orange soda with hops in it that poured with a head. Nice. It's amazing.
Okay, imagine something that's like an orange Fanta or an orange soda. There are other brands available, and it's hopped with Idaho 7. Just imagine that. Right?
Yeah.
It doesn't sound far off.
It's like mimosa. It's like a mimosa, right?
Yeah.
It's like you're doing it with like brute yeast, and you're doing it with what kind of crystal? You use crystal malt with it, and then you put orange juice or candied orange peel late in. And then
what about
7 dry hop it? And it
now you want Nelson? You want Nelson in that Nelson Sauvignon?
Yeah,
that's winey. A bit of Idaho, a bit of Nelson. Yeah. Mimosa. This is how we do it.
This is how we do it, Robin.
I'm just in your R&D meetings now.
Yeah.
Pretty much the same. It's just us doing that in a circle.
Cool. So look out for that.
Next week.
Hard orange barley water. Coming soon.
What else you got? So I know you had the stouts in the pack for the launch
Yes.
party. What are they? Is there going to be stouts on their way soon? Do you think?
Yes, we keep bumping it for other things, and I feel guilty about it.
Yeah, Ben's livid.
Ben's livid about that, but he wanted the Stoop project backed out, and it's going to take time to condition, so we've got to do that. Next is We Own the Night is the next thing coming out. That's the first thing from that's been made at Northern Monk. Expect like a hideously on point hop bomb.
Okay.
Yeah, like we talked to Ads, the head brewer there, about where we wanted to go, and he wanted to start off around I Am Become Death, wanted to start around that, but then we wanted to use different hop schedules and different levels. I mean, the first thing they did is they pretty much, was it doubled or tripled everything we put
almost tripled.
Wow.
Yeah, we did some back of an envelope calculations and then just threw a bucket load in basically.
And it was just like, can I mess with this a bit more? And it was like, yeah, go ahead. And it was like, I saw different yeasts coming out, and I'm like, all right, well, okay, wait a sec. And then his hot bucket was so big, it looked like he was going to go and feed the fish at the trout farm, like all of these pellets. But of course, they're like it was just Yakima Chief up the yin yang. And yeah, I think we will give in and hot bomb something at least once now.
Oh, good. Yeah, people love it, so why not?
They do, but it's when something's like 2 on the night, you want to.
Yeah,
it's
but
not enough
good,
to just do it. Yeah, it's not enough to just do it.
I know what you mean. Yeah. So that's exciting anyway, and especially with you guys working with them as well. That's really exciting.
Although I will say, we are.
BFFs.
There's a lot of love in that room, isn't there? Like we're psychologically, the guys that run Northern Monk, like especially like Luca and Ads, they're on the same path that we are. They think the same way. I don't know if those guys sit down to have like meetings on production profitability and stuff like that. I think they're like, just make the good stuff and then see how it goes down the line. And it's not like they come in and been like, now you need to do this. It's like, what do you guys want to do? In fact, they changed some of the processes when they were doing something else, and they used how we did it. So,
nice.
So that was pretty good. So hopefully had a net positive impact on that thing that they were making. So that was good. But yeah, essentially they're pretty hands off unless we ask something specifically. Ads has been brewing for Northern Monk since they began, and he's responsible for the OFS series of beers, which are all super highly rated. He really knows his stuff and just has a great love for it. And we like similar kinds of music, and we're about the same age, so it's kind of cool for us. And the Northern Monk's main production facility is pretty daunting, and we don't understand most of it. But the Old Flax store, we know what everything does.
That's so good. That's just the very start of your relationship with them, isn't it? You'll be. Is that going to be something that will continue?
Oh yeah. We're staying there now.
Nice.
And over time, I guess we'll just dig ourselves in like ticks and kind of just it really, they do have the space down there, because it's just Ads like brewing all the OFS and collab stuff. Nice. So that works out pretty well. But I don't think we'll leave for a while.
Cool.
We don't have any designs on having our own brewery.
Sure. Yeah.
Mike could talk about that, because Mike kept us away from doing anything like that.
Like a physical, yeah.
It's just like, I don't know. I think it's come about because we started during a pandemic. Like, you see everyone else laying off staff and trying to figure out ways to deal with depreciation of their all of their equipment and shit. And it's like, we don't want to do that. We want to just focus on making great beer. So what we've done is we've basically taken on spare capacity other people have had. We now have a great relationship with Northern Monk. Yeah. And it's like we essentially, and I've always said it, we want to be like the Uber or Nike of brewing. Like, we focus on the stuff that we love, and as we grow and scale, stuff to deal with like what we've done recently. So all of the shipping and similar packaging we've outsourced because it was like it was just dragging. It was like you can either focus on what you're really good at in a business and you can still like love that, or you can get stuck in with all the admin and stuff and then like forget why you're doing something.
Once you've sat, and you probably understand, once you've sat, you know, in your spare time, making like 100 boxes, putting them together, chasing couriers, and also like, you know, nothing harshes your day more than you're excitedly sitting down. You're like, that's great. We finished this. We got it all out of the door. Excellent. The first message you get is like, where's my package? And you're like, now I have to solve this because I can't just leave it alone. I care about people getting their stuff, but we want to make sure that the business is free to do the things that are important to it. Innovating, designing, and producing like great beer. Yeah. You know, you don't go for a flight on Virgin Airways and Richard Branson's doing your ticket. There's this expectation of like hustle culture where it's like, if you don't do everything your own, if you don't do it all yourself, then you're a phony and you're a fraud. And someone said, it was really way back, and they went, oh, so you're doing, you're brewing, just doing contract brewing then? It was like, well, you know, if you don't do it yourself, you know, it's not really brewing at all. And I was like, do you grow them hops then?
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
What about the malt? Did you grow that?
Yeah.
You know, are you responsible for putting hydrogen and oxygen together and making water? No, loser, fake. I would rather that we didn't care whether people thought that we were cool or trendy or on point or making all the right moves or whatever. We're selfishly making stuff we like and just going.
And I mean, you know, look at Mikkeller and Tool and, you know, Big Drop. It's not like, you know, the best people are doing the same thing as you. So, like, the expectation that you're going to have, like, hundreds of thousands of pounds to build a physical brewery, like, come on.
No, and I would, if I had hundreds of thousands of pounds, the last thing on our mind would be building a brewery. We'd be like, we're going to make a load of stock. You know, like, we might buy conditioning tanks and stuff. Probably go for a holiday. That might be quite nice.
Lamborghini tractor.
Lamborghini make tractors. We've had our eyes on one for quite some time now.
You'd have to get that all the branding on that as well.
Yeah. It's tax write-off then.
Yeah.
Along the trees. We saw Mikkeller opened a bar in like Indonesia, and it was a proper. It's just exactly like the Tony Bourdain and Obama pictures of them sitting
plastic stalls, man.
And we were like, we need to have that.
That's it. That's a goal.
Yeah, so we're going to have. We don't know where it is yet. We saw Mikkeller have got one in like
it's
the Faroe
Singapore
Islands as well.
I
have one in the Faroe Islands, but like they're taking it now, so we're going to have to pick somewhere else. I said they're taking it now. I think they opened it like 8 years ago.
But just
didn't have a business then. I can't move.
It's slow on the uptake.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So I mean, it's probably the way you're going at the moment, and the way you've already in the last, what has it been, 6-8 months that you've been doing it, and it's probably not within the realms of possibility. So
we'll just do it. Like the other thing is, I'm glad that you see potential in it, because all of the venture capital people don't, and it's amazing. Like we had a meeting, and the guy was like, yeah, we need you to get your like retail can price down to 50p. And I just stared at him in the face for like 2 minutes. I was like, waiting for the punchline, man. He's like, you know, because like if you look at the competition, I was like, really? What competition?
Were you told that no one will ever pay £2.50 for a beer?
£1.75. They said never pay £1.75 for an alcohol-free.
Wow.
I went, well, people pay twice that for ours already, and they pay almost 5 times it for Omnipollo. So if you want to go around and tell people that, so you know, it was just like, well, they might do, but there can't be much of a market for it.
Thanks to those guys, though, at Omnipollo, for guiding our pricing strategy, because that's you know.
And for setting expectations of what people will pay as well.
It's brilliant. Like, and
we put loads of stuff in. It's really expensive, Robin.
Yeah.
You know, it is. We're not making any money.
That Citra Cryo, the Citra Cryo went out of stock the day before we were supposed to order our stock, and it went out of stock everywhere. So you had to have a bag flown from bloody Australia on DHL Express.
Wow.
And it's so expensive already. I'm like, this is before, you know, like we were even talking to Northern Monk about working together, and I'm phoning them up going, you haven't got any Citra Cryo in the fridge of you? And he was like, I have, but you're not having any of it. And I was like, but what if I could? And he's like, but no, because there's none of it anywhere.
We just need like a little baggie, you know?
Yeah.
just one, just like an ounce. That'll tide me over for like...
Come on, guys.
Can we get it on tip?
Sort me out.
Yeah. Come on, man. I'm like... Anywho.
We have got like hop problems, like the obsession with hop, and people say like in general, like our drinks are not like mega hoppy, but I don't think they understand the varying stages of hopping. And that's when we're like really, well, let's be honest, when we're really pissing our money away, is that we use a lot of hops early on in the mix as well, and the ones that we do, you know, like in the whirlpool and like even the front end, you know, even before we get to dry hopping it, we're kind of a bit silly, and also our yeast, like we're super fussy with what goes in it, but that's why it tastes pretty damn.
Yeah, and I think it's so important that, you know, you guys are clearly like, you've got a vision, you're sticking to your guns, you know, it's something that you're passionate about, and that comes across in everything that you do. It comes across in the beer that we drink, you know, it's the whole process. You know, you can see it's genuine and it's real.
We genuinely just want to make more beer. The biggest problem we have at the moment is that demand is outstripped, like is crushed by supply. We cannot make enough. We sold out this run so we split the delivery. We're like, we give half to trade, like independent bottle shops, Wise Bartender, and then the other half will go to customers, and we put it up for sale, and it was gone over the weekend.
Wow. That's amazing.
It didn't only take us, 4 weeks to make it. It took us from the beginning of January to get the production slot approved, ready to go.
Yeah.
And that's the point when the conversation happened with Northern Monk, where we went, we're in trouble because we're just going around the country trying to find capacity. Every time we start with a new brewery, it's starting all over again. And especially as things were ramping up, coming back, people was going to have pubs open soon.
Yeah.
The focus of many breweries is making sure that they have stock for their own things.
Of course, yeah.
And we just get pushed to the side time and time again. And apparently we whined about it long enough that someone noticed. And,
I think there's something really, really funny about having to say, look, no, we really, really have sold out. There's no false scarcity. It's legit scarcity. Like we haven't got enough. We're trying to make more. We
Literally,
are making more.
Yeah.
And some things are meant to be, and the Northern Monk stuff just hit us at the right time.
I'd love to try and explain how that happened, because there is no explanation in it. There is no.
I think we're still trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it just kind of clashed, didn't it? And then it was just like, well, then maybe you could let us do contract brewing at your place. And they went, well, we've never done that before. We don't know how to do it, but.
It's so great, and I can't imagine there's many better people to be working with than them.
No, it's a bit of it was. We genuinely like their stuff as well. We were a bit naughty because we got our hands on all of the new stuff, because ads left it it was left alone for like 10 seconds, and we were all in there like.
No,
there was a bit.
Well, I could talk to you guys.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
Right. No, honestly, it's fantastic. It's so honest. Like I said, it's so great to hear your passion and your story. And yes, this, like I said at the start, I couldn't think of a better way of sort of finishing this weekend. You guys are so authentically care about alcohol-free beer, and it really comes across in everything. So. Again, a massive thank you for you guys taking the time on Sunday afternoon to talk to me. And yeah, keep doing it, and I'm sure the demand's clearly there. So yeah, thank you again.
Thanks a lot. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for all you've done. You're a great champion, and look forward to chatting again soon.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, nice one. Yeah, and hopefully I'll come up and see you next time you're in Leeds. It's only up the road. So
yeah, the last thing I want to say, like big starters, that I want to give a shout out like to Tom at Wise Bartender, because two things. One, our delivery was running really, really late, and he held it because we said that we would get it there. And when we say we'll get it there, we will, like, you know. But secondly, when every other vendor turned us away 6 months ago, we sent out samples to so many people, loads and loads of established places, and they all turned us down and just said, we can't deal with like new startups and stuff like that. You know, you'll need to be in a few more shops before we do. And Tom was like, he took one sample and he was like, great, so we'll take, you know.
Amazing.
We were like, right, great, okay. And then we were running out of stockroom space, so we spilled over to there a little bit, and he had to do quite a lot of our dispatch. And I just wanted to say, like,
thanks to Tom.
Dude.
Definitely, I completely echo that as well. The last sort of 6 months, almost a year now, I've been working with him as well, and like everything he does, he's been doing for the club, and everything he's done for these boxes going out for people this weekend as well. It's amazing, and he's such a nice guy. He's running a great business. So
I was texting him down to the second, like, please don't shut the lid on those boxes. They're coming. Like, we've got Gary in a van. Don't even know who he was. Like, we found him on the dark web. Like, he's coming. He's got beer. Like, just hold those.
He did it, man.
So glad that it all came together. Once again, thank you, all of you, for coming on. And
thank you.
Cheers.
Thanks a lot.
Cheers,